Everything in this world depends on absence and presence. There is a fundamental law of economics that governs not just money, but human emotion, desire, and power. It is the law of supply and demand. It is a simple equation. The more there is of something, the less it is worth. If water were as rare as diamonds, we would trade cities for a single cup. But because water is everywhere, we waste it. We ignore it. We treat it with indifference. This law applies aggressively to you. If you are always present, always available, always seen, and always heard, your value plummets. You become common. You become a commodity. People stop respecting you because they know they can access you at any moment. They take you for granted. To regain your power, to regain your status, and to ignite the fires of obsession in others, you must learn the art of withdrawal. You must learn the 16th law of power. Use absence to increase respect and honor. Today, we are going to master the psychology of scarcity. We will travel back to ancient media to see how a humble judge turned himself into a god-king by building 7 walls between himself and his people. We will analyze the neuroscience of the chase and why the human brain creates dopamine only when it is anticipating a reward, not when it receives it. We will dissect the difference between ghosting, which is immature, and strategic absence, which is powerful. By the end of this video, you will understand why you must starve your enemies and your lovers of your presence to make them appreciate your worth. To understand the mechanics of this law, we must look at the story of Deioces. Before the great Persian Empire, there were the Medes. They were a chaotic, tribal people without a central government. Violence was common. Justice was non-existent. In one of the villages lived a man named Deioces. He was a man of immense patience and wisdom. He decided to bring order to his chaos. He set himself up as a judge. Deioces worked tirelessly. He was fair, he was accessible. He settled disputes between neighbors, he stopped blood feuds, and he refused to take bribes. Soon, his reputation spread. People from other villages started traveling for days just to have Deioces hear their cases. He became the most important man in the land. He was the center of society. He was vital. And then, at the absolute height of his popularity, Deioces vanished. He abruptly announced that he was retiring. He told the people, "I have spent so much time solving your problems that I have neglected my own affairs. I am done." He closed his door. He refused to see anyone. The reaction was panic. Without Deioces, the Medes fell back into chaos. Crime spiked. Neighbors went to war. The contrast was terrifying. They remembered the order Deioces provided, and they felt the pain of his absence. The tribes gathered in a desperate emergency council. They realized they could not live without him. They begged him to return. Deioces refused. They begged harder. Finally, he agreed, but on one condition. "If I am to rule, I will not be a simple judge anymore. You must make me king." The people, desperate for his presence, agreed instantly. But Deioces did not stop there. Once he was crowned, he did not go back to sitting in the village square. He ordered the construction of a massive capital city, Ecbatana. He built a palace surrounded by 7 concentric walls, each painted a different color: white, black, purple, blue, scarlet, silver, and gold. He moved into the center of the golden circle and issued a decree. No one could see the king face to face. Access was forbidden. Communication could only happen through messengers. By withdrawing, Deioces transformed himself from a respected judge into a mythical figure. Because people could not see him, they imagined him to be larger than life. They imagined he was not a man, but a deity. He ruled for 53 years in absolute peace, holding the Medes together not through force, but through the awe inspired by his absence. He understood that if he had remained accessible, the people would have seen his flaws. They would have seen that he was just a man who ate, slept, and aged. By hiding, he allowed their imagination to turn him into an icon. This is the core mechanism of Law 16. The imagination is more powerful than reality. When you are present, people see who you are. They see your bad hair days. They hear your stutter. They see your mediocrity. When you are absent, people imagine who you are. and the human mind always projects its own fantasies onto the blank screen of the void. Absence clears the clutter and allows the legend to grow. Now, let's apply this to the realm of love and seduction. This is where Law 16 is most lethal. Sir Guillaume de Balaun was a troubadour and a knight in the Middle Ages. He had a perfect lover, Madame Guillaume. She loved him completely. She gave him everything he wanted, and because of this, Guillaume started to lose interest. The thrill of the chase was gone. The conquest was over. He began to take her for granted. To fix this, he decided to create artificial scarcity. He pushed her away. He stopped visiting her. When she wrote to him, he didn't answer. He treated her with cold indifference. He thought this would make her love him more. But he made a fatal error. He withdrew too abruptly and cruelly. Guillaume was hurt, and she eventually withdrew her love from him. Guillaume realized his mistake too late. He had to spend months performing humiliating acts of penance, including ripping out his own fingernail and sending it to her, just to get her to look at him again. This teaches us the warning label on this law. You cannot use absence if you have not established presence. If you leave before people value you, they will simply forget you. Absence only creates value if your presence is already missed. Deioces worked for years as a judge before he retired. He established his worth first. You must be the drug that people are addicted to before you can cut off the supply. If you are a nobody and you disappear, you are just a missing nobody. Psychologically, why does this work? It relies on two powerful cognitive biases: availability heuristic and loss aversion. The availability heuristic states that we value things that are difficult to obtain. If something is hard to get, our brain assumes it must be high quality. If a man is always busy, always traveling, and hard to reach on the phone, we assume he is important. We assume his time is worth money. If a man answers every text within 3 seconds, we assume he has nothing better to do. We assume he is low status. Availability signals desperation. Scarcity signals value. Loss. Aversion is even more powerful. In behavioral economics, studies show that the pain of losing $100 is twice as intense as the pleasure of gaining $100. Humans are hardwired to hoard resources. When you withdraw your attention, you trigger the fear of loss in the other person. They panic. They think, I am losing him. This anxiety forces them to act. They start chasing you. They start trying to win you back. The dynamic flips. You are no longer the one seeking validation. You are the prize that must be recaptured. Consider the modern workplace. We all know the yes man. He is the employee who is always in the office. He arrives early, leaves late, answers emails on Sunday, and says yes to every project. He thinks he is securing his job. But usually, he is the one who gets passed over for promotion. Why? Because he has no leverage. The boss knows he is not going anywhere. He is taken for granted. Now consider the consultant. He comes in once a week. He charges a fortune. He speaks few words. He is unavailable for routine meetings. When he speaks, everyone listens. Why? Because he is scarce. His time is expensive. If the company insults him, he will leave. This fear creates respect. If you want to raise your value at work, you must learn to say no. You must learn to be unavailable for low-value tasks. You must occasionally take a vacation where you completely disconnect. Let the office feel the chaos of your absence. Let them struggle without you. When you return, they will not just be relieved. They will be grateful. This law is also the antidote to a stagnating relationship. In the beginning of romance, there is distance. You don't know each other. There is mystery. You wonder what they are doing, who they are with. This mystery creates dopamine. Dopamine is the molecule of more. It is the driving force of desire. But as the relationship stabilizes, the distance closes. You move in together. You see each other brushing teeth. You know exactly what they are doing every minute of the day. The mystery dies, and with it, the dopamine. To keep desire alive, you must reintroduce absence. This doesn't mean breaking up. It means maintaining your own world. Keep your own hobbies. Go on trips with your friends. Have secrets. Have a life that does not involve your partner. When you come back together, you have something to talk about. You are fresh. You are a separate entity. As the poet Khalil Gibran said, "Let there be spaces in your togetherness. Fire needs air to burn. If you smother the fire with too much wood, it dies. If you smother a relationship with too much presence, it suffocates." But how do you execute this tactically in the digital age? We live in a world of constant connection. Scene receipts, online status, GPS tracking. It is harder than ever to be absent. This makes it even more powerful. Step 1. The digital fast. Do not be instantly responsive. This is the easiest way to signal low value. If your phone buzzes and you jump to check it, you are a slave to the device, and by extension, a slave to the person on the other end. Create windows of time where you are unreachable. Turn your phone off. When people ask why you didn't reply, say simply, "I was busy." Do not explain. Do not apologize. Let them wonder what you were doing. The wandering mind of the other person is your greatest ally. Step 2. The pattern break. Humans are pattern recognition machines. If you call your partner every day at 6 p.m., they expect it. They take it for comfort. One day, don't call. Don't call until the next morning. That one night of silence will generate more thoughts about you than a month of routine calls. They will worry. They will wonder. They will realize how much they need that call. When you finally call, the reward is sweeter because it was delayed. Step 3. The leave early rule. This is for social situations. Always leave the party while it is still good. Most people stay until the end. They stay until the music stops, the lights come on, and the conversation gets drunk and sloppy. They ruin the memory of the night. You should leave when the energy is at its peak. Leave when people are still laughing. Leave when they still want more of you. By exiting early, you preserve the perfect image. You become the high point of the night. People will say, "Where did he go? It was so fun when he was here." You leave them hungry. However, we must address the shadow of this law. There is a fine line between strategic absence and abandonment. If you use this law on people who are insecure or traumatized, you will destroy them. They will not chase you. They will collapse or hate you. You must calibrate your absence to the strength of the bond. Also, do not confuse Law 16 with ghosting. Ghosting is a weak move. It is running away because you are afraid of confrontation. Strategic absence is a control move. You are not running away. You are stepping back to gain perspective and to let the value equation reset. You always intend to return. The sun must set to be appreciated, but it must also rise again. If the sun sets and never rises, that is not power. That is just darkness. Ultimately, Law 16 is about self-respect. It is about realizing that your time, your energy, and your presence are finite resources. You are not a buffet that is open 24/7. You are a rare dish. If people want to consume your energy, they must pay for it with respect. Look at the icons of our world. The most famous movie stars are the ones we see the least. They do not do reality TV. They do not tweet every thought. They appear in a movie, dazzle us, and then vanish for 2 years. We wait for them. We anticipate them. Their absence makes their return an event. Contrast this with the influencer who posts 20 stories a day. We see their breakfast, their gym workout, their dog, and their bathroom routine. We might follow them, but we do not revere them. We consume them like fast food. They are disposable. You must decide which one you want to be. Do you want to be the background noise that is always there, easily ignored? Or do you want to be the event? To be the event, you must embrace the void. You must be willing to walk away. You must be willing to be alone. In the silence of your absence, you will find your power. And when you return, the world will not just welcome you, they will honor you. Because they will finally understand what life is like without you. Use absence, create respect, become rare.